Raise your hand if you think AI will replace your job. I interviewed some professionals across the industry to ask them if they think AI will replace their job, and this is what they said.
AI will absolutely replace aspects of my job.
I don't think AI will replace my job, but actually AI boosts my working performance.
I wouldn't say AI could replace my job, but there's some aspects of it that could be made much simpler and easier with the help of AI.
So much of the role is relationship building that I'm not concerned about AI replacing that.
I don't think it's going to be an area of concern in the field of optometry because it has brought a lot of positive impact in our workspace.
Truthfully, they really can't compete with us, but I think that AI can be used as a helpful tip or hack for journalists.
I think of AI as a tool that's here to change the way we work, not necessarily take our jobs away. It's like having a super smart assistant.
No, I don't think that AI will replace my job. One area where I do think AI will be a boost to my work is in fundraising specifically, especially for grant writing. I have found it to be a really helpful tool in helping me cut word count for grant applications and helping me streamline some of my thoughts.
And if you ask me, definitely aspects of my job will be taken by AI. I graduated during a time of significant technological advancements. I mean, ChatGPT had just launched, people were using it trying to figure out its possibilities, tech layoffs were happening, and the Writer Guild of America strike was taking place. I remember being in my last semester in college trying to get my thesis in one last time, and I have to thank ChatGPT for saving me. I mean, approximately 20% of my paper was written by ChatGPT. Apologies, professor, if you ever happen to hear this. But while I was using these tools and technology, I was also questioning it. But more than questioning the technology, I was questioning my career in the media and creative space. Will I even be needed? Will my skills even be needed? I mean, what did I go to college for? I thought that the creative industry was the one that was being affected the most. But when I looked around, finance, health, tech, fashion, there was no industry that was safe. So what did I do with all this information and overthinking? I decided to go under the rock. I just didn't want it to have any more conversation about what skill I needed to learn next in order to stay relevant or how many more layoffs were happening. And it was not recently that I figured out that the feeling that I was feeling at the time is called FOMO, the fear of being obsolete. According to World Economic Forum, fear of being obsolete is a real problem with more than a fifth of workers in the US worrying that they might lose their job to emerging technology. So after having my moment with fearing technology, I knew that I couldn't be under the rock for a long time. So I decided to understand AI. What exactly is AI? So let's take a step back and understand what is AI. According to New Scientist, AI is a computer software that mimics aspects of human intelligence. It's a really powerful tool that can probably help us cure cancer, control autonomous cars, and augment human intelligence. Or it could lead to robot apocalypse and the downfall of humanity. And if you'd asked me a year ago, I would have probably said the downfall of humanity. AI is really good at making data-driven decisions and doing data-driven tasks. However, when it comes to human skills, just critical thinking, complex problem solving, and emotional intelligence, these skills are still not easily replicated by AI. Being at Harvard gave me the first-hand opportunity to witness the research that was being done in the field. I got to hear from experts who have literally spent their entire life studying technology. Not only that, I was also trained by these experts to incorporate AI into my work to become more productive and efficient. All this training and information made me think, wait a second, this shouldn't be the first time that we are experiencing something like this, right? There has to be history. So I looked into our history and this is what I found. There have been some moments, some technological innovations that made people think, this is it. Like, for example, in 1044, when the compass came out, in 1876, the telephone, in 1927, the television, in 1937, the computer, in 1974, the internet, and in 2017, the artificial intelligence. All these innovations made people think, this is it. But can we even imagine our life without these tools right now? At least I don't. And the funny thing is that some of these tools we don't even use anymore. So this made me feel at ease. I was like, okay, we have figured it out before, we will figure it out again. As I was on my journey of exploring AI and finding its limitations and benefits, I came across a study done by Harvard University and Boston Consulting Group. The study studies AI in the workplace to actually see if AI can replace human beings in the workplace. And this is what the study found. So BCG consultants who were using AI in their work could do 12.2% more tasks, 25.1% faster. Not only that, the consultants who were using AI produced 40% higher quality results. Pretty impressive. The study also found out that consultants across the skill distribution range benefited from using AI in the workplace. What do I mean by this? So consultants who were considered to perform below average gained a 43% boost, and consultants who were considered to perform above average gained a 17% boost. So this study clearly shows that if you use AI into your work, you are likely to become more productive and efficient. However, despite these productivity gains, the study also found out that when the tasks fell out of AI enhancement, the consultants that were using AI were likely to produce 19% incorrect solutions to the problems. So this study is a wake-up call. It's a wake-up call for us to understand that yes, AI has its capabilities, but it also has its limitation. But more importantly, it's a wake-up call for us to ask better questions. The question isn't about whether AI will replace humans or humans shouldn't be using AI. It's about how do we build a future where human and AI come together to drive innovation, excellence, and success together. It's about how do we use our insights, our human insights, and AI capabilities to produce enhanced outputs and minimize errors. So how do we create this world, right? As a Gen Z, who are the future leaders, I think we should focus on three things. First, we should change our perspective and focus on the possibilities. Let me give you an example that I read in a World Economic Forum article. Imagine 120 years ago, when 3/4 of the world's population were working on the farm, someone had come up to you and said, there will be a time when only 20 people will be working on the farm. Would you have believed them? No, right? Even 20 years ago, economists couldn't predict that there will be 800,000 personal trainers in the US and 2.5 million jobs created by the app development industry. It's possible that we are experiencing something like that. I mean, it's hard to predict unknown, unseen jobs of the future, right? But if the patterns of the last 200 years continue, new jobs will arrive. And if you ask me, I could already see jobs like ChatGPT prompt engineer and a fact checker for everything that ChatGPT produces to come out soon. Second, we need to ask broader questions. While our world moves forward towards technology, we need to ask questions like, who is responsible for making decisions regarding the implementation of AI? In all this hype and noise regarding AI, we forget that the decisions regarding the implementation of AI is not done by AI, it's done by us, humans. We need to make sure that we invest in digital skills so that opportunities can be available to everyone. Just like during the first industrial revolution, when the government made sure to invest in skills such as reading, writing, and math, because those were the skills that were needed for jobs at the time. And while we are excited about the possibilities, let's not forget that there are still 2.6 billion people in the world who do not have access to internet, and 90% out of them do not have access to computing abilities. So let's make sure that we bring them along as we are excited about this, not just for a matter of social justice and fairness, but as an investment for the collective future of humanity. And my third point, and the most important point, let's focus on the human skills that we are excellent at. And for this one, I would like to give you a personal example. The other day I was testing ChatGPT and I told ChatGPT that I was struggling at school, my professor is giving a lot of assignments, I just hate school. And this is the three things that it told me to do. Develop a study plan, improve my study habits, and stay organized. Great points. I think I should do this. But the funny thing is that if I had told my real friend, she would have given me a hug and sat down with me and would have vented about how hard life is, right? The thing, what I'm telling from this example, is that human skills such as emotional intelligence, critical thinking, complex problem solving will be needed more than ever. Simply Learn says human intelligence can be traced back to three things: genetics, upbringing, and exposure. And out of these three things, the one thing we can control the most is our exposure. So while we are using all these AI tools to update our skills for the market, let's also make sure that we are exposing ourselves to new experiences, whether it's through a job, a volunteering opportunity, an internship, or through an event. Let's make sure that we are meeting real people and having real conversations and exposing ourselves to these new experiences. Because it's through these new experiences that we gain human skills that will help us survive in an ever-changing world. So together, let's continue to learn, evolve, and embrace the unknown with open arms. Let's continue to use AI to help us solve so many problems and create endless opportunities. Let's be brave about the future and be brilliant in our pursuits. Together, let's change the full form of FOBO from fear of being obsolete to focus on building opportunities. Thank you so much.